Yo, what is up, guys? It is the man at Candace Super Piggy Man here today with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Kenshi Lore. Now, this is probably going to be my last video before maybe next year. I might upload one before New Year's Eve and stuff, but let's get into the nitty and gritty of the Kenshi Lore and what happened. What is this world that your character plays in? Now, if you guys do like videos like this that I am going to start making, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment what you guys want to know about the game in particular. I do happen to know quite a few things. So let's get started with the man, the myth, the legend, the First Empire. So the First Empire was pretty much this really advanced society, and you kind of really don't know that much about them other than what book sources say and just things. You kind of have to ask people who've been around the game a little longer, like, who's the First Empire? You always see in the weapons you make or old weapons, it was crafted by the First Empire. Like, who's the First Empire? And so I think what's saying in the most simplistic way, the First Empire is kind of like this really advanced society. They have these things called behemoths, which I'll put up a picture of how they look like. They're pretty big. They're pretty big skeletons, kind of, in a way. They're like really huge, and they had sworn loyalty to humans. They had unbelievable loyalty, but the advanced civilization ended up getting into this type of conflict, and they didn't want the behemoths to be used to destroy mankind, so they sent the behemoths to their deaths, and the behemoths actually listened because they had this loyalty to them. And so once they lost their behemoths, and all their behemoths died, you pretty much get this. You pretty much see the First Empire fall, and that's as much as I know about them. It seems that's how much like my friends in my Discord know about them, but they end up falling because they lose their behemoths, and it resets kind of civilization in a way. But now, not that much is known about the First Empire. Like, we don't know that much, but we do know quite a bit about the Second Empire, which was led by Catelyn and Tin Fist. Tin Fist was Catelyn's second man. So, as you know, Tin Fist is against anti-slavery. He is a wanted man, and he is a skeleton. All right, he's a skeleton. Catelyn is a skeleton too. And now there's this whole entire thing with the skeleton race that a lot of people don't know, is that they, after a certain amount of time, they have to restart their stats in order for them to keep their sanity. And so Catelyn never resetted his stats. He knew what happened to the First Empire, and he rebuilt a whole entire Second Empire. But the Second Empire wasn't really long-lived. It had a lot of internal conflicts. One with the Holy Nation, that, if you really think about it, they're kind of like the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout. They didn't like the idea of machines and all that stuff, controlling our everyday lives and being in the wrong hands and all that. And they pretty much, just started fighting with the Second Empire. And the Second Empire wasn't really the strongest empire. It wasn't the weakest either, but it wasn't sustainable enough. And they were starting to take blows from the Holy Nation. And then these new people called the Hive move in, and they were pretty hostile towards the Second Empire. And then they started attacking them. And pretty much, what ended up happening was the fall of the Second Empire. The Second Empire had fell. Catelyn just vanished. Nobody knows where he went. Tin Fist became an anti-slaver. And I think, if I remember correctly, the only empire that is from the original Second Empire, it's just like a downgraded version, so I don't know what you would call it, but it's the United Cities. They're pretty much the last part left of the Second Empire, and they really do believe in slavery a lot. But Tin Fist, I think he knows that wasn't a key principle in their Second Empire, and that's why he's so against, anti-slavery and all that. And you can actually talk to Tin Fist before you fight him, I'm pretty sure. If I remember correctly, it was available in the early access form, but I'm not sure if it still is. But Tin Fist ended up kind of going insane and kind of not. But the person who really did go insane was Catelyn. And it goes back to this thing of having to restart everything, and I think they lose all their memories too, if I remember correctly. But they reset all their stats. I think they lose all their, memories. And so Catelyn didn't reset. He just refused to reset, and he ends up losing his mind. He just is insane anymore. And this is really evident when you go to find him, and you find him, and he attacks you on the spot instead of talking to you like Tin Fist would. Now I don't know if Tin Fist actually restarted or something. I'm not sure. In that's a whole entire gray area. I'm not sure. I don't know that much. Neither do my friends. But I do want to talk about the Holy Nation and the United Cities. So the United Cities is pretty much what's left of the Second Empire type of era thing. And right now you're living in the third era, where it's all the factions battling, for control. You got the Hive. Well, the Hive are pretty neutral, except to the Holy Nation, because the Holy Nation hates everybody that isn't human. But the United Cities and Holy Nation really hate each other, and you can tell this by when you like achieve a high enough diplomatic status with the United Cities or Holy Nation. They give you a task, which is to take control of for the United Cities it's Arcane Shield. I don't know what it is for Holy Nation. I forgot. I can't remember it from the top of my head. But the United Cities really wants to show, like, hey, Holy Nation, you need to chill out. We know you don't like mixed races and everything, but this is our land. You guys can't go through here, and that type of deal. And they actually want to get aggressive to them, implying that they want to take everything over again and start up a whole entire Third Empire. Third Empire. And it's a really weird thing, because everybody worships gods, right? The Sheks have their war god, or like their leader, the Stone Golem. That's pretty much their god. Holy Nation has Arcane. United Cities, I don't think United Cities has a god, because they're from the Second Empire, but I'm not sure. The Hive worship their queen like she's a god. The Fog worship I don't know what the Fog worship. The Cannibals worship the Wizard King. And, everybody worships somebody. And it's kind of, you can tell that United Cities is a lot more advanced by what they have and what they offer and everything. But the Holy Nation, now the whole entire story behind the Holy Nation was the first Phoenix. What his cause and everything was, for, a noble cause. Hey, we don't want to be ruled by machines, all that stuff. We believe in Arcane. He sacrificed himself for a light god, and we do everything in his name. And the Holy Nation at first weren't racist, but after, generations of Phoenixes and up to now, like, I don't know when the actual pinpoint happened, but they became racist to a lot of other races. And it's really evident when you go and settle down and you have maybe a Hive or a Shek with you, and they'll either attack you on the spot, or they'll send a convoy saying, hey, you need to get rid of that guy, we don't want him here, type of thing. And that is really weird. Like, you wonder, like, why doesn't Holy Nation like them? Well, it goes back to how their god, they talk about Arcane. Arcane was a god. He sacrificed himself for the light. And there's the second god called Narco, which is the god of the darkness, and Arcane's the god of the light. And they believe all humans are endowed to this god of the light, while everybody else that isn't human is pretty much god of the dark. They worship Narco. They tempt you to go the other way. That's their belief. And it's not really said, but the Phoenix that is right now, when you start the game, when he was about 15, 16, when he was, still growing up, and he became Phoenix, he killed his entire family because he believed that they were worshippers of Narco. So it really shows you how much belief they have in their religion. And it's really weird, because, the Phoenix, the Holy Nation was first for a noble cause, and now, they're kind of racist and assholes to everybody. Now, onto the Shek. The Shek were a pretty weird bunch, I guess, if you say. They were warring with everybody. They warred with the Hive. They warred with the Holy Nation. They warred with the United Cities. I don't even know how they got there. They're like on the other side of the map. I'll probably show a visual of where they are. And so, anyways, back to the main thing. The Sheks were pretty much warring so much because the Stone Golem believed in the old philosophies of keep warring until we win, that they were pretty much killing off their own race. That's what was happening. And it wasn't until the next Stone Golem took over that she made peace with the Holy Nation. She made peace with the United Cities. She made peace with the Hive, and now they're in peace. And a lot of people don't know that. It's fine, but they don't really war with anybody, I guess. I mean, they will kind of get aggressive to the Holy Nation because the Holy Nation's aggressive to them. It's like a back and forth type of thing. But other than the United Cities and Hive, they're completely neutral and all that. But the Sheks were just a warrior breed. They believed in this necessity to fight. And even if you talk to some of the Shek kingdom people, just random encounters and stuff like that, they'll talk about, oh, we don't really like our leader because we're not fighting. And they still have that old belief of we should fight until we control everything, which isn't a bad thing to do because, they're a warrior race. But anyways, that's pretty much everything we know about the Sheks. They're kind of near extinct. If you can tell, they only have two big cities compared to everybody else having like 3 or 4. I think United Cities has 5 because they're the biggest. Holy Nation has 3, 4 if you help them take over the hub. And then you also have, well, the Hive don't really have a big city, but they have villages and they have a lot of them. Now to the Hive. The Hive are kind of like this mystery race in the whole entire story. Nobody knows when they showed up. They just showed up, and they just built their villages and everything, and it's pretty much it. That's all we know. They really keep themselves. The queen has actually opened up training to everybody, so that's a cool thing. And I think the Fog are like this hybrid form of the Hive where they became cannibals. Something became corrupted in them. I don't know what, but I don't even know what the Fog are. So and for the cannibals, I mean, just any reason anybody would become cannibal because you've seen the world end 2 times already, and you've seen it. You're almost seeing it end again for a 3rd time with the Holy Nation, United Cities fighting for control, and you're like right there on the frontiers, and you're just like, why not just eat humans? We're all gonna die in a while. No, I'm just playing. Nobody really knows why they went cannibal. I'm just assuming that it's because you're on the frontier of where like 2 big empires ended, and you're just like, what, the world might end any time, so why not just eat humans? That's the real thing here. Anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy this short brief video of the lore in Kenshi, what the first empire is, what the second empire is, what's happening now. I feel like the game doesn't really explain it that much. You have to read the books, and I feel like not that many people read the books. I feel like this would be a good video to make for you guys to know. Now, if you guys did enjoy, remember to leave a sub and a like because it goes a long way. And comment on what you want me to, talk about next. If you guys want me to talk about, what the skeleton race is, who created them, why didn't they die with the first empire, or, how did the Hives get here? Where does Kenshi even take place? Like, where are we? Like, anything lore based. So, yeah, peace, guys.